Good evening, everybody, and welcome to GTV. This is a special interview with Joe Satriani, probably one of the greatest rock and roll guitar players on the planet.
Oh, thank you.
Pleasure. So it's very good to have you here. Cheers.
Thank you very much for having me on the Maiden Voyage here.
So this is the first interview that we're having with GTV, so you're welcome to the site. And first of all, let me ask you, how is the tour going? I believe this is number 5 or 6 of the tour. How's it going?
That's right. It's been fantastic. You know, we started a couple of months ago in the States and Canada. Did about 6 weeks of the Super Colossal tour, took a break, and then we've been here for a little over a week. And we're having a great time.
Okay, how's
the show's been fantastic. The audience has been very receptive to our new set with a new bass player and the new material, so it's been a lot of fun. Okay,
you've done what, Glasgow, I think?
Boy, if you're going to ask me the shows I've done, you'll find it's too early in the day for me to remember. But where did we start? We started in, we did a little festival outside of Paris, and did a few shows in France. We did Amsterdam, and who knows what else we did before we got here in the UK. And I think we've done maybe half of the UK shows.
Okay. Yeah. And how are you finding the UK audiences?
Fantastic.
Are they, how old are they? Are they sort of growing with you, or are they?
You know, we've noticed that since about 1998, the trend has really been getting just broader and broader in terms of the age of the audience. There was a while there where it really started to get narrower and narrower, you know, in the 90s. And then all of a sudden, maybe around the 2000 tour or tail end of the 98 tour, we started noticing really young and really old, and then families. And I guess we reached that point where, since I've been putting records out for 20 years, some of the early fans have grown up and have kids, and they've brought them, and the kids are playing. And so now we see a lot more younger kids playing guitar than I have in at least 2 decades.
That's excellent.
It's very encouraging. And of course the old fans who have been with us from the beginning keep coming back to see the new stuff we're doing, so that's always great.
I think that your name is now quite well known everywhere, not just in the niche area. That's what I find. I mean, you ask people in the street, which I often do, if they've heard of Joe Satriani, and they quite often say yes. I mean, it's not a niche thing anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, well, it's one of the great benefits of, you know, sort of doing what we do and not sort of veering off course, is that we've been able to expand the touring world for us. And so, you know, last year we finished our tour in India, and we had, you know, never even gone close to that years before. And so, yeah, it takes a long time to complete our course now. You know, it takes about 15 to 18 months to really get everywhere we need to go.
Yeah, presumably you do Japan as well, and the other areas in the East. What about China?
We started that, I guess, a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we had done Hong Kong and Taiwan, and I made a trip over to Beijing, and we probably will chip away a little bit more at that huge country this time around.
I'm sure it's a huge place for you. It will be, yeah. Okay, now I have some questions here from the Guitarist website, the Guitarist magazine forum. Some people have written in some questions they'd like asked. The first one is from a chap called Rip, or R.I.P. I think it's Rip. I hope it's Rip anyway. How can you contain yourself after writing something as awesome as Redshift Riders?
That's funny. I like that question. Good question. Boy, I tell you, I did have a great time writing that piece and getting to the point where I really connected with the sort of the sci-fi movie in my head about when you're out there hurtling through space and you come in contact with the cosmological redshift effect, and having the song slow down, you know, the way that it does, hitting the cut time, and that was very exciting. And I piled on maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 rhythm guitars, you know, playing this riff in various harmonies, and I think I had more fun during that part of the song. It was just so great to hear it. And of course, eventually when I realized I had to be drums and bass and everything else in there, I had to tone down the army of guitars I'd recorded, but that was a great moment. You know, you have many of those when you're in the studio, and if you're like me, you're doing a lot of production on your own, so you're the only one in there, and it's easy to get lost in in the joy of just doing the parts, coming up with them and recording them and getting them to sound just right.
I mean, do you write all the other parts as well, or are you quite prescriptive with the bass and the drums, or do you allow them some freedom?
Well, this time around, I played all the guitars. I did the bass chores as well as the keyboard, so I knew what I wanted, and I kind of felt I was in the right space. I had the right instruments. I was in the right frame of mind to be able to jump from instrument to instrument. When it comes to drums, I generally will get a basic groove that represents the entire song. And sometimes I'll add some accents that are there just to remind me of a guitar or a bass or a keyboard part. And when I hand it over to Jeff Campitelli or to Simon Phillips, as it was in this case, I'll often say, well, here's like the kitchen sink drum performance, you know. It's got way too much in it. It's very stiff. It's only maybe 2 or 4 bars long, so it's very repetitive. So, but they're used to me giving them that little message in a little contained chunk, you know. And then from there they figure out, okay, this is what he wants. This is where the emphasis should be. Now, how do we turn it into a performance? Because ultimately that's what I need from them. I need a real drummer's performance, a drummer's perspective.
Yeah, so they crescendo at the right time and come to the climax at the same time.
Yeah, and very often they have to humanize it, because I do all my drumming on a V drum set, because I really can't play drums very well. So I need to quantize my performance with a computer once I've done it, and so it winds up just having that stiff feel that we have to get.